Hi folks, my name is Linda Emmett and welcome to Happiness is an Inside Job. We are the creators of our own reality, we create our own lives. Our mind is our biggest limit and it's our own beliefs, behaviours and habits constantly caught in those cycles that keep us trapped where we are and stand in the way of our own happiness. So throughout this podcast, we're going to take a deep dive into some of those beliefs, habits and patterns, where they show up in your lives and what you can do to change them. Hi folks and welcome aboard season 3. I'm so looking forward to all the juicy topics we have coming up, the guests we'll have on and the new plans that I have in place for the creation of Happiness is an Inside Job season 3. I want us looking at all different aspects of life, all different ways of being, living, what's keeping us stuck and what's holding us back. And on that note, what I want to take a dive into today, something I've been diving into now for the past few years, but I've really been practicing it the past, I'd say 6 months, and that is past life regression. Now, irregardless of what you believe, what you don't believe, the key, I think, in life is just being open to new ideas, new ways of thinking, to create those all important shifts that we want. So, as I say, on that note, we're going to take a look at, on this pod, past life regression, what it means, some of what it does, and just developing a new understanding of the different realms, the different dimensions of life, and possibly opening up that portal to previous lives, different aspects of our past, to develop a deeper understanding or knowing about ourselves, because we hear from when we're born about souls, about spirits. We question what we are, who we are, what our life purpose is, why we're here, what our journey is, all of these things. So I truly hope that this might give you some understanding of, as I say, another dimension of life, another way of looking at things. So on that note, folks, we'll dive into, I suppose, what past life regression is firstly, and then take a look at it in all its glory and its elements, and I'll possibly share a couple of the experiences I've had. So past life regression is the deliberate use of a host of tools and methods within hypnotherapy to retrieve memories and experiences about lifetimes that have occurred before we were in this one. And the goal in doing that, the goal in looking at past lives and different experiences that we've had, is literally lifting that veil of separation and accessing some of the memories of the subconscious mind. And this gives us it allows us to gather wisdom, it gives us greater knowledge and understanding of, I suppose, the deeper aspects of ourselves, the higher self, that inner knowing. It reconnects us to our intuition, those things you feel that you've always known but didn't know, those things that are stored in the subconscious, because irregardless, we are energy. When we leave this physical body that we're in, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes form. It just transmutes, changes into a different form. And for me, past life regression gives you the opportunity to look at possibly the different forms you've been in the past, the different lifetimes in whatever form that you may have lived, and the impact they have had on you and the impact they're creating in the life that you're living now. So it's like, and I love this, I've read many books and done a lot of studying on this, but one particular book that I really love is Past Life Regression, and it's by Mary Lee LeBay is her name. And I think one of the, I suppose, the way she puts it is, imagine that you have amnesia and you literally cannot remember anything that's happened in your life before you are 21 years old. What is it you'd know about yourself? what is it you wouldn't know about yourself? And how could you understand your relationships with people, your relationships with yourself, why you are where you are? What would you know about your personality, the traits, where your health issues may come from, the choices you made to choose the job that you're in, the career, and where you get your deeper knowledge or wisdom from, that inner knowing. And this is what past life regression, I suppose, it's a way of looking at what it can offer you. And this is why I'm diving as deeply as I am into it. And I hope you'll join me a little bit on this journey and open yourselves up, just open your mind up to thinking of expanding into the bigger picture, expanding into that soul existence, that energy existence. Now, folks, there are absolutely countless studies done on this over decades and decades, from so many people that have been practicing it for years, so many people that have experienced it, and some of the amazing benefits of it and the things that it works on using past life regression is particular cycles of behavior that we're trapped in but don't fully understand why. We keep going back to them even after we've done some work on ourselves. And this is one of the reasons I dived into it. Some of the particular, I suppose, patterns or behaviors that I have, folks, that I am often locked into playing small in the gifts I've been given and the things that I absolutely know that I'm fully capable of. And what I want to do, the gap between that and what I'm actually doing, the staying small, that's something that I've struggled with for a long time. And for me to even move myself out of that behavior and to move through, I've been looking at, in part, also in this lifetime, what created that. But that's a part of what got me looking back into the past. And what I did find was, when you do discover the roots of where it comes from, within other lifetimes, within other spaces and places, it gives you the ability to separate yourself from it, to look at it and see it for what it was, see it for where it showed up, and it creates that separation, that this is just something that you're carrying. This is something that you potentially came into this lifetime, and your purpose is to heal that, to learn to love those parts of yourselves, to allow yourself to evolve and grow. Because the bottom line is, that's what we're all here for. To evolve, to grow, to serve out our purpose, but firstly understanding what that is. A couple of other things that it's profound in helping in, and I've read a number of studies, are your physical health, your emotional health, phobias, and I think the biggest one, and the one that we're really going to look at, is our life purpose. And again, in Mary's book, one of the things that she dives into, and I do love the way she puts it, is, there's two basic components to any life: consciousness and existence. And one absolutely depends on the other. And without those two basic qualities, they need to come together. Consciousness and existence needs to come together for the actual continuation of existence. You need to be conscious to know you need to continue to exist. And these are two things that every living organism needs just to survive. And this is hardwired into our ability to survive. And being conscious about what it is that we want, what it is that we seek, why we're here, what we dream of, our desires, they are driving forces in our lives. They drive us through so much, wanting to evolve, wanting to grow, wanting to love, be with more people, have more success. All of that is built into our evolution. And if we stopped doing that, if we stopped evolving, we stopped growing, and we're extinct, we're existing until we can no longer exist. So life purpose is a driving force for all of us. And it is through the connection and knowing ourselves that we connect with our life purpose in the first place. So allowing ourselves to lift the veil on what we view as time, this linear view, and step out the limits of our own mind, the limits of our own personality, and look from another dimension. Open ourselves up to the fact that we're in like a vast universe, that the latest studies are showing it's 11 to 15 billion years old, with so many planets, so many different potential existences, so many different lifetimes, and to open ourselves up to the fact that this may not just be this 70, 80 years we get on this planet, may not be it, and there's a sole purpose behind that, an ever living, infinite, eternal soul and spirit that travels through many lifetimes. And it's the purity and the goals of that spirit is part of why we're here and what we want to connect to. And it's carrying the pains and the burdens often of other lifetimes that are some of the lessons we need to learn to grow and to evolve. And another very interesting part of looking into past life regressions, and again, I'll share a couple of my experiences and in part why I got into it in a few moments. But one of the things that I love to know, or I suppose think with it, and the understanding it has given me is, you know, we can come in carrying a similar energy pattern to the ones we've had previously. And that means we've very likely been around similar energy patterns in past lifetimes. And you know, the way you get that feeling sometimes that I've met this person before, or I know this person, or it's very possible that you have met them in another lifetime, that you've been around them and they played a different role. They were, regardless of what that role was, but you were back drawn to those similar energy patterns. And what you can do with past life regression is go back and look at the roles they played. If you have questions around relationships, a relationship that you're in, or you have a big choice to make, you can go back and look at whether they were in your lifetime before. And it can be on us, folks, to change the patterns that we were in with them in previous lifetimes. It can be, you know, that they were with us for different lessons, or lessons we did not learn in a past lifetime, and this is our next opportunity to learn them, to understand them, and to break them, move through them, and evolve as a soul and a spirit existence, as well as a human, and where we want to go in this lifetime, within the lifetime that we have now. For me, I remember, and I don't even think remember is the right word to put on it, but so long ago, I must have been about, I'd say possibly about 6 years old. And I had, I suppose, a dream maybe of me out in the middle of a canal on a boat. And I was very young on the boat. I was a little girl, and there was the huge walls either side, and there was loads of people standing either side and looking in at the boat. And when I looked to the other end, it was only a canoe now. The devil was sitting facing me, and I could feel, and still to this day, speaking about it, I get all the emotion and the fear. I can give you every single detail of what he looked like, and every single feeling of what that felt like. And I was sitting in the boat, and I went to scream, and I had no voice. He'd taken my voice. I had no voice. I was trying my best to scream the absolute loudest I could, and there was nothing coming out. And I was looking to the people either side, and I felt so helpless because they didn't know that he was there, or that I could see him, and that I was terrified, absolutely terrified. To this day, I still get an absolutely visceral response to even that image and how I felt then. And I wholeheartedly believe that in this lifetime, or a part of what I saw, was 100% a message to use my voice. That if at some point in other lifetimes, in other places, that it was stifled, it was in some way taken from me, and to use it. Now, there's many other things when I've done the regression on this particular thing, there's many other things that came up, but I genuinely, to this day, and as I say, I can give you the most explicit picture like no other dream, no other image I've had in my lifetime, and I've always carried that, and it's a part of the reason that I wanted to look back because I wanted to understand. I wanted to understand what that meant. I wanted to understand what it was and how I had such a visceral response to it. When I've done past life regressions and I look back and went on different experiences, one of the ones I had, and they're very, very different to memories or stories, and they feel different. You can feel the energy, you can feel the place, some of us see it more visual, some of us hear more, some of us feel more. I certainly feel. I feel more, and I see more. And the last one I would have done, I would have literally opened out in a cell, for want of a better word, but it was centuries old, and it just had one window. I was 15 years old. I was a young girl. I could see everything I was wearing. I could see my feet. I was within the body. I looked out the window and I seen to figure out where I was, which is one of the questions. And I seen a red flag with a blue cross that was flapping away in the breeze, and then it kept dropping down when there was no breeze. I had no idea where a red and blue cross came from. I had to look it up afterwards. I could see I was up quite high and I was being punished. I'd been put in there. The next memory I had went slightly backwards, and it brought me to a house where I was surrounded by men, and they'd come in. I was at a kitchen table and they discovered some way, somehow, that I was clairvoyant. And this was a huge crime, and that's why I was in the cell that I was in. And as I say, I was 15 years old, brown eyes, blonde hair tied back in a bun, and this is where I ended up. And the last thing that I remember from that then is where I was standing on the ground and I looked down, and there was like an underground moat with loads of water, and that was my escape. That was my way of getting out. I was being brought somewhere, but I was able to get into the moat, and unfortunately, I've a terrible fear of water that I've been working on a long time, but every part of that came back within that experience. I could feel the exact things I feel when I'm in water. And then the last part of that experience was just complete calm and absolute bliss, just peace. All fear was gone, all fighting or trying, and everything was just gone. And then it went on from there, and I looked at the lessons. There were many other things that I did within that, but I just wanted to share a little whiches of the experiences that I've had and why I chose to open up to it, and still do. And it's something that I want to continue diving into. And I really hope this grasps your interest, folks. And when you are out in the world, and when you meet someone, or you're closely involved with someone, and you get those feelings, that you listen to them differently, that you do, when you do see someone, that you get that knowing, that feeling, I've met these before, I know these, there is some place, and you find out it's not in this lifetime, that you will ask yourself the questions, is it in another? Was this my energy, my soul that met them in a different time, different place, different planet, whatever it was? There's so much information out there. There's old souls, new souls, and old souls are more, I suppose, what people view as being in this lifetime a number of times. Souls are infinite. There is no time like we're bound to time. Newer souls, they say, can come just directly from consciousness, and then they go back to consciousness and come back in again. They are just energy and come back in. But you dive into this, folks, and there's a number of different views, but that's the particular one that I hold on to. They also, I've learned that our spirits can often choose the gender that they come into for the particular lessons that they're here to learn, or they have, I suppose, a gender preference in where they want to be, or what the lessons are yet that they have to learn. And I find that one fascinating. Like, do you know what I mean? And depending on the lessons that we're here to learn, we can come back as the same gender many times. We can also come back in different forms. It's not necessarily human. We can come back on different planets, different times, different spaces, different universes. It is absolutely infinite, guys, but it's worth exploring. It's worth looking into. It's worth taking that dive into understanding different dimensions of you, different understandings of who you are, what you are, more importantly. Because the who is the personality, the identity, the image we put in ourselves, who we believe we should be. But the more important questions are, what am I? What am I? Am I a soul having a human experience? What? And it's them questions that you will find your true answers, your true connection, your true wholeness. Because we ramble around feeling so separate, feeling so alone in our problems, in our heads, in our minds, in our own worlds, when that is not the case. We are all the same energy, traveling through time, traveling through space, traveling through experiences with purpose, goals, and not everyone has the same purpose. Not everyone is here to evolve and grow. There are different purposes from different people. I know, folks, from my experiences that they were slightly darker, may have sounded a little bit scary, but we've all had them. We've all had those experiences. Just times in our lives we feel afraid, or we've had scary experiences, different dreams, different feelings, different vibes, and that's okay. It's understanding what they mean and what they're for. But one of, I suppose, the more beautiful sides of past life regression that you can really use is, one, understanding your true life purpose and more of what you are, and two, when you do go back and look at some of the lessons that you have learned in past life and ask those questions, and some of the beautiful experiences or beautiful things you've been, seen or done, you can anchor in those experiences. You can take them back into this lifetime with you now. You can use the session to reinstall confidence, to reinstall feelings of empowerment, see some of the things you've overcome, see some of the places you've been, the things you've done, and you feel less insignificant and more connected, more confident, more able to believe in your own vastness and your own infiniteness. So as I say, folks, I hope this gave you more of an understanding, and it's something that, even if it's not past life regression, that you're willing to look at, what you are, your soul purpose, your spirit purpose, and bring about more happiness, more connectedness, and that deep sense of belonging in this lifetime. So that's it for me for this week, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it and got some fabulous takeaways. And as always, I invite you to connect in with me across social media, or check me out on my website, www.yourgifttoyou.com, or email me, linda@yourgifttoyou.com, guys, because I'd love to hear from you, and any topics you'd like for us to talk about, or any more learnings that you want. And please remember, give me those reviews, because it keeps the podcast getting out there to more people. So chat to you very soon, guys. Bye bye.